In Hollywood, stories aren't just written. They're crafted, protected, and sometimes weaponized. Blake Lively, and the golden girl of the screen, now finds herself at the center of a courtroom drama no script could have predicted. With Justin Baldoni caught in the crossfire and Ryan Reynolds guarding a billion-dollar brand, one question looms. Where does the performance end and the truth begin? This is the story of how a Hollywood fairy tale turned into a legal firestorm. What if Hollywood's golden girl wasn't the victim, but the mastermind behind one of the biggest courtroom controversies in recent memory? The Blake Lively everyone thought they knew might not be the one standing before the judge today. Blake Lively, actress, mother, and half of one of Hollywood's most adored power couples with Ryan Reynolds, is facing a backlash that's unraveling faster than anyone expected. Behind the glamorous red carpets and witty social media posts, there's a legal storm brewing. A storm that's dragged Justin Baldoni, Wayfair Studios, and producer Jimmy Heath straight into the center of it. It all started when Blake accused Wayfair and Heath of showing her a deeply inappropriate birthing video while working on It Ends With Us, the film she was set to star in alongside Justin Baldoni. She claimed the footage violated her boundaries and supported her harassment allegations. But Wayfair's legal team tells a very different story, one that paints Blake's accusations as exaggerated, manipulative, and dangerously misleading. According to court filings, Blake demanded that Heath hand over all personal and home videos of his wife's labor, including footage that was never shown to her in the first place. Wayfair's attorneys fired back, calling the request not only invasive but draconian, arguing that Lively's motion for sanctions didn't meet the legal standard required for such extreme punishment. Under Federal Rule 37B, a party can only face severe sanctions for willfully disobeying a clear court order. But, as Wayfair points out, no such order existed. Heath had already complied with what was required, producing a short clip that showed him, his wife Natasha, and their newborn child moments after birth. That video, Wayfair says, was exactly what Blake's own legal team had asked for in their discovery request months earlier. Yet, despite receiving it on August 22nd, Blake waited more than a month before claiming that this wasn't the video she remembered seeing. An odd claim, considering that the footage matched every legal reference in the filings. Wayfair insists she's simply trying to reshape the narrative because the facts don't fit her story. Legal experts observing the case have noted how unusual Blake's approach is. Instead of requesting additional evidence through standard channels, she jumped straight to demanding the harshest possible sanctions, effectively asking the judge to rule in her favor without her having to prove her claims. It's a move that some are calling a last-ditch attempt to rewrite reality. Her critics say it's not about justice anymore, it's about control, about forcing the court, the media, and the public to see her as the victim, even when the evidence suggests otherwise. And what's worse, this isn't the first time she's been accused of trying to manipulate the system, because as the filings reveal, this motion is just one in a long line of attempts by Blake Lively to twist the courtroom narrative. And soon, even Justin Baldoni and Ryan Reynolds' names will get pulled into the chaos. Just when it looked like Blake Lively's case couldn't get messier, a deeper strategy started to surface. A move so calculated that even her Hollywood peers began to wonder, is this a fight for justice or a performance for power? Inside the courtroom, the tone has shifted. What was once framed as a sensitive harassment dispute has morphed into something that feels more like a publicity battle. Wayfair's lawyers now describe a pattern. Every time Blake fails to uncover the evidence she wants, she runs straight back to court, asking for extreme sanctions designed to silence the defense. To them, it's not about finding truth anymore. It's about creating an illusion that someone must be hiding something from her. And when the judge doesn't agree, the headlines conveniently appear to tell a different story. Even Justin Baldoni, who was once seen as an ally, has found himself in the crossfire. His name has been tied to filings, counterclaims, and endless clickbait about who's really to blame for the fallout from It Ends With Us. Insiders close to the productions say that Baldoni has tried to keep his distance, letting Wayfair's attorneys handle the courtroom drama while he focuses on protecting the film's reputation. But the internet doesn't care about nuance, and Blake's side knows that. That's why, when the media began reporting that she was seeking $161 million in damages, it almost looked reasonable, until the real numbers surfaced. In the official filings, Blake is asking for $650 million, an astronomical sum once punitive damages are included. And yet, major outlets like People, Variety, and Deadline repeated the smaller figure without question. Why? Because $161 million makes her look like a wronged artist fighting for justice. But $650 million? That sounds like greed. Some analysts believe the spin wasn't accidental. Several of those publications have long-standing relationships with Ryan Reynolds, interviews, brand tie-ins, even sponsorships for his production ventures. That connection alone has fueled speculation that public perception is being carefully managed. And while Ryan himself hasn't publicly commented, his silence has become its own headline. Every smiling red carpet appearance, every quippy tweet, every cozy family photo feels suddenly strategic, a way to remind the public that the Reynolds Lively brand is still untouchable. Meanwhile, back in court, the filings tell a less glamorous story. The judge's orders are clear. Jaime Heath already complied with discovery. He turned over the only video he was required to, a short post-delivery clip that showed nothing inappropriate. Yet Blake continues to argue that somewhere out there lies another, longer video that proves her case. Wayfair calls it fantasy, Heath calls it harassment, and legal observers are starting to agree. But as pressure mounts and the truth behind the media manipulation starts leaking out, one question becomes impossible to ignore. What happens when the image of America's sweetheart collides with the evidence she can't control? In Hollywood, reputation is currency. And when that currency starts to crumble, people will do anything, even twist the truth to protect the brand. As the legal tension deepens, it's no longer just about what happened on set. It's about how the story looks on the outside. The lines between courtroom evidence and celebrity PR have blurred beyond recognition. Within days of Wayfair's explosive response filing, the media landscape lit up with a wave of carefully timed headlines. Suddenly, Blake wasn't the one under fire. She was the misunderstood actress battling corporate villains. Headlines framed her as a victim of Hollywood's old boys club, while critics of her behavior were quietly drowned out. But the numbers don't lie. Blake's official complaint seeks roughly $650 million in damages once punitive costs are factored in, 4 times more than the $161 million repeatedly quoted by top outlets. And that's not an innocent typo. According to insiders, publicists working with Blake's team have been accused of feeding softer versions of the story to journalists, ensuring she looks less like a vengeful celebrity and more like a silenced survivor. Even Justin Baldoni, who once stood shoulder to shoulder with her as co-star and director, now finds himself stuck between loyalty and logic. Sources close to the production say he's quietly frustrated, watching the film he poured his heart into become collateral damage in a lawsuit that never seems to end. Baldoni's been careful not to take sides publicly, but the tension is obvious. His reputation, too, is on the line. Then there's Ryan Reynolds. The actor known for turning every scandal into a meme has stayed uncharacteristically silent. Behind the scenes, however, PR insiders whisper that his team is working overtime to protect the Reynolds Lively empire. The brand they've built, playful, polished, family-friendly, doesn't coexist easily with accusations of manipulation, false claims, and million-dollar lawsuits. Some even believe Ryan's silence isn't support, but strategy, a calculated move to distance himself from the chaos while letting Blake's team control the narrative. After all, if the public starts to see Blake as the aggressor, it reflects on the brand they've spent years perfecting. As the filings continue, more inconsistencies start surfacing. Wayfair's legal response points out that Blake never asked for the footage she's now demanding. She missed discovery deadlines, failed to file timely motions, and ignored procedural rules. Still, she accuses the other side of withholding evidence, a claim that could have devastating consequences if proven false. Legal experts now say her case risks imploding under its own contradictions. They call it a house of cards built on perception. Because in Hollywood, sometimes perception is all you need, until someone catches you stacking the deck. And just when it seems like Blake's credibility can't take another hit, a new twist exposes a shocking connection between her legal playbook and her public image. One that could drag Justin Baldoni and Ryan Reynolds even deeper into the fallout. As the court filings pile up, another pattern starts to emerge. One that's not written in legal language, but in headlines, hashtags, and viral tweets. Each time Blake's legal team faces backlash, a new narrative suddenly appears online, perfectly timed to shift public sympathy back in her favor. It's the kind of orchestration only a seasoned publicist could pull off. And few celebrities understand image control better than Blake and Ryan Reynolds. Together, they've built a brand that's practically bulletproof. witty, charming, picture-perfect parents with a playful social media presence. But now, behind the laughter and couple goals, there's damage control happening on an industrial scale. After the first sanctions motion fell apart, coverage from entertainment outlets subtly reframed the story, portraying Blake as a woman fighting for truth against a corrupt studio machine. What most people didn't realize was that many of those same outlets have close ties to both Blake's and Ryan's media networks. According to insiders, it wasn't coincidence, it was coordination. Then came the witness list scandal. Major media outlets, including People, Deadline, and Variety, reported that a string of A-list celebrities like Taylor Swift, Gigi Hadid, and Hugh Jackman were set to testify on Blake's behalf. The story instantly went viral, boosting public curiosity and painting Blake as a beloved figure supported by Hollywood royalty. But the truth? That list wasn't a witness roster at all. It was a discovery list, a standard procedural document, months old, that only mentioned people who might have knowledge of the situation. No subpoenas, no witness calls. It was a headline made for clicks, and a distraction from the fact that Blake's legal filings were falling apart. The timing, the framing, and the media reach all pointed to one thing: a calculated attempt to control the narrative outside the courtroom. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's name continues to surface in the background, often in stories suggesting tension on set or conflicted loyalties. Those close to him say he's exhausted by the circus, trying to salvage his career while avoiding open conflict with Blake. Some claim that private conversations between his team and Wayfair's legal counsel show frustration over how Lively's tactics have overshadowed It Ends With Us, a film now infamous for everything but its message. As for Ryan Reynolds, Hollywood PR insiders describe him as being in full brand protection mode. His representatives reportedly monitor coverage closely, ensuring that any mention of him in connection to Blake's lawsuit stays limited, positive, and tightly framed. But even Ryan's humor and charm can't distract forever, because the longer Blake's court battles drag on, the harder it becomes to separate his image from hers. The story has turned into a tug-of-war between truth and perception, justice and spin, image and reality. And every move Blake makes in court seems to have a mirrored move in the media. But now, a new revelation threatens to shatter the entire strategy. A discovery that could expose how far Blake's team was willing to go to win her case and protect her empire. They say the truth always comes out in discovery. But no one expected what would surface this time. One document, one deposition, and suddenly Blake Lively's entire strategy starts to unravel. When the court unsealed its latest round of filings, something caught everyone's attention. Buried deep inside Wayfair's response was a quiet but devastating revelation. Blake's motion for sanctions was based on an order that never actually existed. Jaime Heath, the producer at the center of her accusations, had already complied with every part of discovery. He turned over the only video referenced in the original complaint, a brief post-delivery clip showing him, his wife Natasha, and their newborn baby. No explicit content, no violation, nothing close to what Blake claimed she'd seen. Wayfair's lawyers included deposition testimony confirming it. Heath explained that more private footage did exist, but it was stored separately on a drive for safekeeping, and that he'd never shown any of those videos to Lively or anyone else. The court order, as written, didn't compel him to release them. In short, the smoking gun Blake demanded simply wasn't covered by the law, and her decision to pursue sanctions anyway painted a clear picture. She wasn't seeking justice, she was searching for leverage. The timing couldn't have been worse. Within hours of the filing becoming public, legal analysts started dissecting her case online. Commentators questioned how a team as experienced as hers could misinterpret a basic discovery order. Others speculated that it was never a mistake at all, that Blake's attorneys pushed forward knowing it would generate headlines, not results. That's when the backlash began. Online conversations shifted from sympathy to skepticism. Hashtags once filled with support for Blake Lively started turning into threads of doubt. Screenshots of the court documents spread across Reddit and X, with users pointing out inconsistencies between her public statements and the legal record. And suddenly, Justin Baldoni's name was trending again, not for his directing or acting, but for being tied to the chaos. Hollywood insiders began asking if the entire It Ends With Us production was cursed. Baldoni's reps quietly declined interviews, saying he was focused on creative work. while sources claimed he'd privately told friends he wished the lawsuit would just disappear. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds faced a different kind of heat. PR analysts started questioning why he hadn't commented, especially as his wife's credibility came under fire. Some argued his silence was a sign of quiet loyalty. Others saw it as pure strategy, a way to protect his business ventures from the storm swirling around Blake. Behind closed doors, though, insiders describe growing tension. Ryan's team reportedly urged Blake to pull back, to stop filing new motions that only fed the headlines. But the momentum was already out of control. Every legal move created another story. Every denial turned into another trending topic. By the time the dust settled, one thing was clear. Blake Lively's legal gamble had backfired spectacularly. Instead of proving her case, she'd exposed the weakest part of it, a pattern of overreach that made even her supporters uneasy. And yet, just when it seemed she'd finally hit a wall, whispers from inside the court hinted that Blake had one more move left. A final play that could either clear her name for good or destroy everything she and Ryan Reynolds built together. Just when everyone thought the case was finished, Blake Lively made one last move. A bold, risky play that could either redeem her reputation or end her Hollywood fairy tale for good. After months of silence in the courtroom, a new filing hit the docket, and it had Blake Lively's fingerprints all over it. Her attorneys submitted another motion, demanding that the court reconsider the previous rulings and re-examine evidence she claimed had been misinterpreted. To the public, it looked like an act of defiance. To legal experts, it looked like a desperate attempt to rewrite history. In this motion, Blake argued that Wayfair and Jamie Heath had intentionally misled the court. She insisted there were more videos unseen, unshared, that could validate her story. But the problem was, the judge had already ruled on the matter. The deadline for discovery was long gone, and the evidence she wanted was never part of the original request. Wayfair's attorneys didn't hold back. They accused her of weaponizing the legal system, of filing one sanctions motion after another simply because she couldn't prove her claims. "This is not litigation," one filing read. "This is performance." And performance is something Blake knows well. For years, she's built her career and her brand around image. The effortless charm, the curated family life with Ryan Reynolds, the social media humor that made them America's favorite couple. But now, that image was cracking. Behind the scenes, sources say Ryan's team urged a truce, advising her to settle quietly before the media circus swallowed them both. Yet Blake reportedly refused, insisting that clearing her name mattered more than optics. It was the kind of conviction that wins sympathy in movies, but not always in court. Justin Baldoni, once the creative partner who championed her casting, now found himself cornered. Insiders say he's grown weary of being tied to a controversy that has nothing to do with his work. His studio commitments, upcoming projects, even his reputation as a positive force in Hollywood, all risked being overshadowed by Blake's ongoing feud. Those close to him describe his frustration as boiling, especially after realizing that every new filing kept pulling his name back into the spotlight. Ryan Reynolds, ever the strategist, took a different path. Instead of defending or distancing himself publicly, he leaned into silence, letting his charm campaigns and business ventures speak louder than any comment. But even that strategy couldn't contain the whispers. Behind the glossy headlines and playful brand tweets, fans began asking if the Reynolds Lively empire was just another PR illusion. As weeks passed with no favorable ruling for Blake, media coverage shifted again. The same outlets that once championed her story began questioning it. Legal experts called her approach reckless, and social media threads accused her of exploiting the system. What started as a lawsuit about harassment had transformed into a battle for credibility, one she was quickly losing. Still, Blake's supporters argue she's simply fighting a system stacked against women, that her persistence is proof of courage, not guilt. But even among those voices, fatigue has set in. Each new motion feels like déjà vu, another chapter in a story that refuses to end. And so, the once golden narrative of Hollywood's most beloved couple now reads like a cautionary tale. Fame, power, image, all on trial in the court of public opinion. Because if there's one thing this saga has proven, it's that in Hollywood, the fight isn't always about truth. It's about who tells the story first and who the world chooses to believe when the spotlight finally fades. So, here's the question that still hangs in the air. Was Blake Lively truly fighting for justice, or just fighting to stay in control of the story? Because after all the filings, all the headlines, and all the spin, one thing is clear: when fame and truth collide, someone always gets burned. Justin Baldoni's career is still recovering from the fallout. Ryan Reynolds' silence speaks louder than any press release. And Blake? She's still standing. But for how long? No one really knows. Maybe this was never about a courtroom at all. Maybe it was about reputation, that fragile Hollywood currency that can vanish overnight. The cameras will move on. The next scandal will come. But this case, this saga, will always raise the same uncomfortable truth. In the entertainment industry, image is evidence, and perception can be the ultimate verdict. What do you think? Was Blake Lively a victim of a system gone wrong, or the architect of her own downfall? Let us know in the comments below.